A new student of mine came to see me a couple of days ago, really suffering with the golf shots, at first going too far to the right. He was noticing that he was sort of leaving that face open, seeing the golf shot start right and then curve further right. So when he checked himself out on video, he noticed, and a few of his mates said this as well, that he was swinging very much in to out. So he came with the idea of trying to get this almost over the top move to take place in the downswing to stop him from going too far underplane, getting stuck, leaving the face open, blocking it out to the right. But that caused the golf shots to go the complete opposite direction. So when he came to see me, his golf shots were going too far to the left. He was having this two-way miss taking place. He was either getting that block if he got a bit too stuck on the inside, and then he was getting that pull if he was trying to feel this over the top move. Well, there was one thing that I told him to do at the start of his golf swing that allowed him to create this fairly neutral club path, very much square club face angle, being able to control that club face and produce little baby fades. So if you can relate to these two shot outcomes, trying to change your swing, noticing they're the complete opposite direction, this is a video you want to be watching, because this easy, simple move is the one for you to start that golf swing. So for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Harry, PGA golf professional, transforming golfers worldwide from the Golf Project and on Skillis. So whether you're around the corner or halfway across the globe, I'm here to help you improve your golf. So make sure you drop a comment down below with tips and drills, video topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. If you do enjoy this one, smash the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on all my content coming out Tuesdays and Fridays. So taking a look at the swing to your right here, what we noticed Phil, my student, do at the start of his golf swing. He had a nice setup position, ready to take the golf ball, but the first initial move he would make, I'm just going to move this way just so you can see it from this angle here, is that the first initial move he would make was, we noticed this lead arm, this left arm of his, get a little bit disconnected from the body here, almost getting this rotation here, this movement where we're noticing a bit of a gap taking place in between the arm and the left side, the lead side of his body. And when we do this action here, you can see two things take place. The hands come very far out in front of us, and that encourages us to move this club more on the inside like this here. You can see I'm getting a lot of wrist movement from this taking place, but what does this also do when we get to this position here? It sets the club in a very much open club face position here. This leading edge is very much, from this point here, vertical to the ground, as you can see from this video here. And the problem with this is actually defined as an open club face in this position. We have manipulated, rotated our wrist to get the club in this position here. Look, a little bit disconnected again, leading edge, this point here in the club face is vertical to the ground. So if we're going to be opening the club face from here and we swing back down, just imagine what we've got to do to try and get that club face back to square. We're leaving the club face well open at impact. So we've got to try and do something in our downswing to stop this open face from taking place. So then when you look at the top of the backswing, the way he sets himself up nice and short, maybe the hand's a little bit too close to the body, but that wasn't really an issue at the moment with this. But once he got to the top here, we noticed that when he tried to swing slightly over the top, the club would come back out in front, but the club face was still open. So he was having to do a lot of work with the hands to try and get this club head to return back square to the golf ball. And when I do this action here, okay, so we've got this motion here taking place basically on the backswing, we're opening up this club face. So what have I got to do from there to hit that golf ball? If the golf ball was here, I've got to really force my trail arm to extend to get this club face back to square. So there was a lot of strike issues taking place from this, because if we're doing this action here, what do you think is going to be leading the race to the golf ball? Well, it's going to be, again, the leading edge of the club face. And if that's coming into the golf ball first, we're going to hit those thinned golf shots as well. So you didn't just notice those two shots going a bit to the right and the left, we noticed some thinned golf shots as well. And from the top, when I told him just to swing as normal, he would obviously swing a little bit underplane, get stuck with this trail arm, leaving the face open. They'd have to manipulate the wrists again to try and square up the face. So those two shot outcomes there were all being caused because we were finding it really difficult to control this club face angle. And just from looking at the top of his backswing here, relatively good position here, nice and extended lead arm, flex trail on there, which is good to see. Wrist position, although we've opened the club face, it's in a good position at the top of the swing. So I knew that all we needed to do to make the change was to control this club head throughout the golf swing, therefore starting the golf swing in a different motion, a much easier motion to help him see much straighter and further golf shots. So kicking things off with the drill then, the entire aim for this drill that I was going to give Phil was to make sure that rather than seeing this club face being manipulated in this motion here to start that golf swing, we wanted to see it go this way like this here. So very much controlled, very stable through the impact zone. If we're getting this motion here, we've got to react and do this motion on the downswing. To time that, as I mentioned earlier, becomes very difficult. So first off, you're going to take an alignment stick number 1. And the idea of this here is you're going to place it on the lead side of the grip. Now, I've spoken a lot about this part of the drill in a few of my takeaway videos, and it's so good if you do this. It's so easy to bring into the actual swing itself and help you control this club face, and I'll show you why. So again, we're trying to control that club face, but by doing this, we're starting the golf swing in a different motion, much easier motion. The alignment stick here is hanging away from us. You can see I've not got much of the alignment stick here next to the grip. The majority is hanging away from us, and we're going to be placing this on the lead side of the body like so when we come to the address position. And what's going to happen here, obviously it's going to feel like the hands are a little bit more forward than usual, which is fine. Don't worry about that, just ignore that for the time being. But what's going to happen here is, let me just move this ball here so you can see this from there, is that if I was to do that same motion that we were doing before, that Phil was doing in his golf swing before, getting this disconnected motion here, seeing those wrists slightly more manipulated, and the club face position as well, opening on the way back, just watch what happens here. So when we do this action here, what's taking place? Well, obviously we're getting disconnected and everything else, but that alignment stick is moving away from the lead side of the body, this left-hand side of the body here. So what we want to do instead is we want to see if we can keep this alignment stick touching the lead side of the body up until a point just before parallel to the ground. So I'm going to move the ball back to here just to show you what I mean by this. So we've got the club in this position here, alignment stick touching the lead side of the body, and we're trying to keep that alignment stick touching the lead side of the body. Now you can see here the difference from this angle here in the club face. The leading edge is a lot closer to being parallel to my spine angle here. And when you watch the video of Phil giving this a try to start off with, we notice the same outcome as what I'm doing here. And there's a massive change there, with the wrist angles. The wrist angle on the way back was totally different. The lead arm position was totally different. Just watch this again for me. So I'm just going to take the club head just back on this motion here. Okay, what's the lead arm doing? It's staying nice and straight, very connected to the body, more connected than usual, but not too connected, of course. The wrist angle is staying very straight, so no manipulation or rotation taking place really. Maybe a little bit just because of the lead arm movement here. And when I take my right hand on, look how easy it is for me here to set the club in a great first position here to start that golf swing. It makes things so much easier. Just having this alignment stick here can work wonders for your game. For you, it's really important to develop that understanding of what this feels like to you. Because for me, it feels like I'm starting that takeaway using my lead arm, or more my shoulders but my lead shoulder in particular. But for Phil, it felt like he was using a lot of his upper back muscles instead. Just because we're both so used to starting the golf swing using different muscles in our body. So it's going to be different, this feel, for every player that gives us a try. So when you go ahead and give us a try and use the alignment sticks, and place one of them on the lead side of the body, doing this movement, make sure you take into account, even close your eyes doing this, and just try and understand where that feeling's coming from, because the more you understand that, the easier it is going to achieve in your swing, because we're always looking at the golf ball, remember, when we're doing this. So after a couple of attempts making this move with the alignment stick, you want to be looking at the ball all times and then closing your eyes for a few as well, to develop that understanding of what it feels like. Because when we take the alignment stick away and make a few swings, it's important we repeat this from a feel perspective rather than a visual perspective, because we're not looking at this point here when we're hitting the golf ball. We're always keeping our eyes on the golf ball. After around 15 to 20 just motions taking this back and forth, Phil getting used to this, we took the alignment stick away. And to begin with now, all I said to Phil was, right, I want you to hit just a little chip shot. Imagine you're gonna hit this, carry this 20 yards, 30 yards distance. But the whole idea of this is you're just going to make a swing back and then just swinging through as normal for the time being, whilst you're just getting used to this motion. See if you can hit a few shots doing this movement. It looked a little bit like this here. So it's there, like so. That was exactly, you'll notice from this video here, I hope I've got that and I'll show you now, is that you can see Phil's shot and my shot have both started right and gone straight in that direction. Obviously, that's a good thing because that's an indicator of, well, we're able to control that club face and no manipulation, no wrist rotation on the way through. So what do we need to do now to get that ball starting straight down the target line? Well, all I said to Phil, and I even got him using the alignment stick again for this, but I'm just going to show you for the time being without it. So if we've got the club in this position here, ready to hit the golf ball, and we make our swing back and forth, and we're keeping our wrist, our club head, and our lead arm in a more controlled position on the way back. If we just from here now, just turn and have that club head going more out like this here, where do we think the golf shot's gonna go? It's gonna go further to the right. And this is what Phil was used to doing because of the way his downswing took place. He was so used to having this downswing going this way, so he had no choice but to get the hands working that way, which is why we saw the first golf shot he hit doing this chip in motion, this new takeaway move to the right of target. So all I said to Phil from there, and this is the second stage of this drill, is that when you're setting up and you're feeling that motion on the way back, see if you can get the golf ball to start left of the target. So obviously the left-handed player is going to be the right-hand side of the target here. And how to do it, of course, is by taking it back to here, and then the feeling is the hands working left, as opposed to the hands working straight or right in this direction here. We're going to get the hands now working left. And what have I done just there just to do that? Well, I've just got my hands moving in this direction here. You can see, watch the club head here. The club head works in this lovely arc. It doesn't go away from the arc on the way through or ahead of the arc on the way through either. It just follows this natural swing arc. But to do that, I'm feeling like here, and Phil felt like this to him as well, was that he was getting his hands to work left in this direction here. And look what it does to the club face. If we're working in this motion here and we're taking the club back here and turning on the way through, look what this does to the club face. From here, okay, we're gonna swing left a little bit more. Feel like the hands are swinging more left. Keeps the face nice and square, tiny bit of shaft lean, which is what we want as well. And then we can just swing through and follow the same swing arc, as opposed to getting this motion here, pushing it out to the right, or having to get the wrists involved like this here, or try and feel the opposite motion, but then because we're so used to trying to recover from this open face, even when we swing out to win, we're going to end up closing the face because we've opened the face on the way back. So we've got to keep this club face nice and controlled on the way back, but also on the way through. You can give this a go with two alignment sticks, and the first alignment stick is going to be placed back on the lead side of the grip, just like we did with that other drill there. The second alignment stick, and you'll notice from this video as well, I just place another alignment stick directly behind the golf ball, just like this here, in line with the target line. So for you, those of you giving this a try, if you come down to the golf projects, you can get this all set up, and your target line will be this line on the screen here. If you're doing this at the driving range as well, just pick a target, line yourself up with an alignment stick directly behind the golf ball, pointing at that target, and you can just make your way from there. So we've got this second alignment stick on the lead side of the grip as normal, making this takeaway move here, and we're just stopping as soon as the club reaches the end of that alignment stick there. So this is our guide just to indicate that we're taking that club head on the right plane, the right swing arc here. So once we've set the club in this position here, the feeling is the hand's working left. By the way, you can get these alignment sticks if you have a look in the description below after the video. 5% off, use the code SHORE5, Golf Swing Systems. You'll notice it in the description below. Click on there and you can get 2 of these. And also I'll put a link in there for the alignment stick setup as well, if you want to really focus on the plane of your swing. So we don't necessarily need to keep the alignment stick touching the lead side of the body after impact, but that's a really good feel. Watch this here. So when I'm doing this, I'm just going this way. So it's touching from here, still touching, hit the ball, and then it's not touching here. If you do find that you're touching it a little bit like this here, that's okay as well, because that's just going to encourage you to hit a little fade as opposed to getting that massive block or big putt. Do what suits you, as long as you have the feeling of that hand, those hands working left, that is great. Then I left this alignment stick on the ground. We took this alignment stick away, and then we got Phil hitting a couple of longer shots, sort of half swing. So I said, rather than now trying to carry it 30, 40 yards, now I want you to try and carry it 90, 100 yards, maybe a little bit more than that. So he said, okay. And he said, what? So how far back do you want me to swing? And I just said, just whatever feels right to you. How far back is necessary. We're not trying to make full swings. We're not trying to get ourselves into certain positions. Once we've got the club to this point here, everything else stays the same. But when we bring it back, the feeling is from there, hands are working left of the body. So then our goal was to try and get them left of target and curve it back on target. So it's there. Okay. Right, so we've got the cut again. I didn't swing hard enough left then, and looking at my club path number, that explains it a little bit as well. So I'm still slightly in to out there. So if you are a player with a slightly in to out path, we've got to really encourage the hands to work even more left, so that the club face is pointing more left at impact. So I'm just going to give that one a go again and just really try and exaggerate from here and then that motion here. So from there, the hands work straight left, and see if I can just reduce that club path a bit more, and therefore the face angle as well. Face angle was 2.1 degrees on that one, so just push that a little bit to the right, but 123 carry, so kind of the right swing there. Right, a little bit less, here we go. That was better. So there you go, that was the goal. So my club path on that one was 0.5, so a tiny bit in to out, but the face angle was slightly closed. So obviously we don't want the face angle to be way too close on the way through, but if we're noticing that go a touch left of target like this here, then that sets us up to hit those more controlled golf shots, because that's an indicator for us that we're getting those hands on the way through working this way. Once we started getting used to this, we started to try and ramp up the speed a little bit, build up that speed, but also see if we could still produce an outcome that would set the golf shot slightly left of target and then curve it back to target. But Phil, because he swings it so quickly from the start of the downswing, he'll get to the top here and then fire his hips almost towards the ball. I've done a few videos on this topic in the past, so I'll bring that into the end screen later on at the end of the video for you to watch as well. But I didn't want to give Phil too much information to go and work on, because that would require us then to feel this motion here and then trying to swing left as well. Just gets a little bit too much for the first lesson. I want to keep things simple for him. He's playing quite a lot as well. So all I said to Phil was that rather than obviously firing those hips forward, because we couldn't help to control the speed, we were able to slow it down, but not enough for the hips to stop almost firing towards the ball. But look what happens here. When we get the hips firing towards the ball, club gets underneath and stuck. So that was the main cause of this way in to out path. Getting stuck, open face, having to get this motion taking place on the way through to recover from this. So all I said to Phil, when you're hitting full shots, but this applies with every single club, once you get to the top, feel like you're keeping your heel down, your right heel, your trail heel down. Because what does that do? If I just swing through now, keeping my heel down, what does that do? It delays the lower body rotation, stops us from firing the hips too far forward towards the golf ball. So what we were doing here is we were creating more room through the impact zone to hit the golf ball, but also to help us get those hands working more left. If we get to the top of the swing and we do this action here, we've got no chance of getting the hands working left of us, because we have to bring them back out to the right. Rather than thinking like what Phil was thinking of, getting a little bit over the top to do this, all we mentioned was keeping this heel down. And as long as he had the feeling from the top, so this takeaway move here, swinging up to the top as normal, as long as he had the two feels of keeping that trail foot down and the hands working left, feeling like this here, then he was going to be able to control that club face and also calm down that in to out club path. So it's there, and from the top, we're just keeping the trail heel down, and we're working those hands more to the left. See if I can get that club path number into the negative. So that was better. Obviously started it way more to the left of target. Club face was in a great position there as well, but the club path was slightly more. This is what we noticed with Phil as well. We noticed a few go that way, and I said that's a really good thing because obviously we're controlling that club face. If we're hitting them left and they're not going further left, they're not curving too far to the left, that means we're controlling this club face more, right? So all I did at the end, when we started working on these sort of full swing shots, when he started hitting his 5-iron as well doing this, we saw incredible results, by the way. 8 out of 9 within this area here, which is pretty remarkable. We got on this alignment stick here now, and I placed it just like this, just on an angle, okay? And you can move it to sort of suit you. You can try this, trial and error, and see what suits you, what sort of angle. The feeling was, on the way through, avoid the stick. So that was really forcing us now, the feeling of getting the hands working even more left. And look at the club here, it's just going to follow it in this direction. But when we're doing this, we're not flexing the arms, we're keeping them nice and extended in this position here. Take away there, top of the swing is the same, right heel stays down, and we're avoiding that stick, obviously getting the hands working more to the left. And there we go. That was quite a nice one. So my club path reduced to 1.2 on that one. Face angle was better. Oh, come on, I've got to get one at least in the out to win number, the minus number. Phil was able to do that a couple of times. Come on. Oh. But again, that was a really nice strike doing this. Very compressed, as you probably heard from the cameras there. Club path 1.9, so I wasn't able to quite get myself into the minus number because I do have quite a shallow angle of attack. But even for those of you who have this shallow angle of attack, it's going to allow you to exit quicker and control that club face. Even for those of you who swing a little bit steep on the downswing as well. So for those of you who've come this far, you may as well hit the subscribe button and drop a comment down below for a follow-up video if you'd like to see one, of course. Would you like to see a video from this position here, working up to the top of the swing, and possibly a nice and easy, simple thought for you in the downswing as well? Because obviously all we've spoken about really is working on this motion here through the impact zones. If you'd like to see something working more to the top of this backswing and transition phase, drop those comments down below. I'd like to see at least 20 comments and I will get that video ready and uploaded for you. And you've noticed already the video has popped up here to talk to you a little bit more in detail about how we can create a little bit more room on the downswing, working this trail glute a little bit further back, as obviously Phil's common fault here was getting the hips a little bit too far forward. I reckon this is something we're certainly going to work on next in our next lesson in a couple of weeks' time as well. So thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video.